I'd rather play the long-term game, which is content and engagement, than just these hacks, because these hacks come and go.
Welcome to Seven Figure Entrepreneur Podcast, the #1 podcast bringing you behind the scenes with real online earners. No fake gurus here. And today we had a great recommendation from our buddy Jono. He's been on the podcast before, John Valenti. Jaelin White, happy to have you here, man. Excited to talk to you. It's going to be good.
Yeah, happy to be here, man. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Yeah, man. It's we've been slacking on the podcast, to be honest.
We have been. We've had a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, like it's nonstop. Tyler more so than me. The guy's always busy. I'm just hanging out over here doing affiliate stuff, slanging Facebook ads, getting leads, usual stuff. But I'm excited to get back into this podcast stuff. Excited to chat to you about how you got here, what you do, so on and so forth. So how about we start with that? What do you do?
Yeah, so pretty much I have a bunch of websites. I have a content team. We create posts and content. People read them. We have email lists corresponding with each brand. And we basically just sell advertising, So a lot of this similar model to a lot of the guys, just more of a brand content-based kind of viewpoint on it.
So you're almost like a digital publisher. Like you have a website, you give people useful things, and then you contact them, send them promotional emails, etc. That's more or less it, right?
Yeah, I definitely consider us a digital publisher. Yeah.
And then as far as like how you physically make money, can you kind of like dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, so there's a few different ways. I mean, number one, AdSense. Number two, we have CPM email stuff going out every day as well to our list. So people are coming and paying to get in front of our audience.
Yeah. Could you break that down a little bit, kind of explain what a CPM drop is?
Yeah. So basically for anybody who doesn't know, another word is like solo ad or dedicated emails. And basically what you're doing is you're going to someone who has a brand and they have an email list. You're saying, hey, basically, you have this list. I want you to send out this advertisement, to your list. So more or less. So it's not necessarily, sort of like if you've seen YouTube influencers or Instagram influencers showing a product on their page, that's kind of what it is in my world. I know maybe some people do their drops differently, but as far as we go, it's just us sending out a drop to our list with an advertiser's advertisement. So
could you kind of explain as far as like when an advertiser goes to do that? Because, I come from the world of CPA, meaning every time I send an email out, if it generates a certain amount of leads or sales, I get paid on that. But a CPM drop's a little bit different, right?
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, different terms, right? Different ways of paying. But at the end of the day, it all kind of comes together. So a CPA offer might put a certain number, like paying you out $80 a sale. And at the end of the day, they also might come to the CPM drop and think, okay, we need to back out at $80 a sale. Otherwise, we're not going to continue booking, right? Yeah. I don't make money off an advertiser buying one drop or even 10 drops. I make money from them coming in every month,
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we work closely with the advertisers, even though they are paying on a CPM basis, which CPM, for anybody who doesn't know, cost per million, cost per 1,000 impressions. Even though they are paying on that basis, we will have sort of some guys work off of like a CPC like target. Other guys work off of, basically just a CPA or ROI, target. Every advertiser is a bit different, but we work with everybody to make sure they're getting their numbers. And obviously me as a publisher, I don't want to obviously also get destroyed because some guys, if they think they can get 120% ROI, they'll push for it, right? But if they know that they can only get an 80%, then they might take that as well. You know what I mean? So I'm always trying to get them the best amount of results possible without destroying myself as well. Because I'm sitting here spending advertising myself hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to bring in leads to make sure we have fresh impressions for these advertisers. So at the end of the day, it's always a balancing act to make sure I can still stay profitable while also getting them good enough results, if that makes sense.
So how do you price a drop?
Go ahead.
It really depends per list, but it can range anywhere from $500 to $1,500 to $2,000.
So really how do you come to that dollar amount?
We typically charge $10 CPM. So
okay.
and I started out charging more, but advertisers come back for what's called like make goods, where they're coming back for, drops to just be made good. They didn't hit their target, so you give them another free drop. Because again, like I said, I don't make money from one drop. I want to keep them coming back.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so I charge a little bit less than some of the other guys in my niche, and maybe a little bit more than some of the other guys as well. So I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. Like I said, we always try to work and make sure guys are getting their ROI.
Awesome. So as far as like a 30,000 square foot, so you advertise on the front end, people subscribe to your list, look at your content, you email them content on an ongoing basis, and then you also have advertisers pay you to email their content to your list.
Exactly. That's right.
Pretty straightforward, man.
30,000 square foot view. Yeah. And, like I said, that email stuff, the CPM drops and all that is not necessarily a large percentage of the business. It's still, a third. So our AdSense is still making a lot of money. Our actual content sends are still making a large percentage of our income. So that's not really quite, I wouldn't even say that's like a main portion of the business. Whereas for other guys who are less content driven, that might be like 100% of their revenue. But I have a content team, so we're able to, pull out more revenue from that side of things, which I think is good for long-term sellability, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
the other
really
big
cool,
thing,
man.
I know a lot of ESPs, they want to see more content. Can you explain how you use content to generate revenue?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, people are subscribed for content. So you're going to get more eyeballs, more opens, more clicks if you're setting content anyways. So basically, you have a few options. Number one, you can, and this is a way we also drive other revenue, is having links in our content that's our sponsored. So kind of like a little add in between our stories.
Yeah.
Another way is, you can throw CPC offers at the top of the content email, kind of like banners and stuff like that, like you'd have on a website. And then obviously on site, you can have native placed on site. You can have AdSense, which is obviously, in my opinion, one of the best ways to make money on site.
Google knows everything, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not really going to get better CPM than Google. So if you can make that quality content get approved for AdSense, you can really win out. And, I know a lot of people, maybe they don't want to go through the trouble of dealing with the content team, and it's not easy. I still, I'm working on it every day, but it's definitely been worth it for me, I'd say.
That's awesome. As far as AdSense, I know a lot of people have had issues where they run into losing AdSense accounts. Have you ever ran into issues like that, or have you figured out ways to manage that so you don't have to risk that?
To be honest with you, I haven't really had a big issue with that. I can't speak to that much, but I can say that I think having quality, unique content is a big important factor there. I mean, at the end of the day, Google wants to make money, right? They want to send you checks. So I think as long as you're maintaining, quality content that's not too, like risque, then I think you should be okay. But again, I haven't dealt with that. So maybe I'd have to cross that bridge when it comes down to the, to dealing with
Makes
that.
sense.
So it's not been an issue yet. Not to say it won't be in the future.
That's really cool.
How many sites have you, because it sounds like you have almost like a network of sites. You have a few of them. How many do you have now?
Yeah, I have dozens. I mean, I think we're at like 24, 25 now, in a few different niches. Some niches are better than others. One example of a niche I'm working on right now is trivia. People like to play trivia questions. So just having a daily trivia question up, and, it's kind of a broad audience. So a lot of stuff can work potentially with advertisers. So that's one of the things that we're getting into. We've also done.
That's interesting. See, I feel like a lot of people listening to this podcast now would be like, how the hell is this kid going to make money off trivia?
Yeah. And it's not the sexiest thing in the world, the return.
But that's what makes it great too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the returns are not that sexy. Like if you think about it, because, guys in the seat, and I don't know a lot about the affiliate world, but I've heard like, oh, spend $100,000 a day and make 20 grand that day. Like if I spend 200 grand this month, I'm not even getting that capital back for another 2 or 3 months into my bank account. You know what I mean? It takes a while for me to get my capital back, but it's more of a long-term game. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So as far as the trivia, what does that, if you don't mind, like, I just think this is actually a really cool example, because it shows how you can kind of like almost give away things for free, but still make money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, people are, we're in quarantine. I mean, I guess not really anymore, but people are still at home. They're looking
In
for ways.
Miami,
Yeah,
not feeling that.
definitely not in Miami, but people are looking for ways to be entertained. They want to consume content. So basically, your value is in the content that you create for them. So people are wanting to come and kind of more or less waste time. Honestly, at the end of the day, we all like to be entertained. A lot of us spend a lot of time on social media. A lot of us spend a lot of time on Facebook, internet. Sure, in fact, a lot of people watching this have probably, their friends have shared articles. Hey, top 5, monuments in the US that you didn't know existed. Articles like that. You've seen them all day long. They're content-based articles, and they do good to get people coming back to the site to read every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the direction that we take, and I am excited for like trivia stuff, more general stuff, and all that. Just bigger markets to scale, and so that's
In the beginning
why I do like that.
in the beginning when you sell that list, do you sell it based on like just age and who it is, or do you say like, oh, this is from a trivia website, these are the kind of people they are?
Yeah, we definitely do say, hey, this list corresponds to this website. This is what they're interested in and their demographic. This is their age.
Gotcha.
This is their blah 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 blah, and this is what they can do for you. So
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
At the end of the day, a big part of our responsibility also is to make sure we get the right ads in front of our customers, right?
Yeah.
I don't want random stuff to be shown to our audience because it makes us look bad. So we're every day trying to make sure that better fitting advertisers are coming onto our platform. You know what I mean? Because Facebook, they can sit there and they can tell you exactly what you like because they know everything about you. Like not one piece of data is hidden from Facebook as far as you're using it.
Yeah.
For us, we don't quite have that luxury. So it's more of just like a guessing game and to see which ones, kind of which advertisements jive well with our audience.
That's cool.
Yeah. If anything, I think AdSense almost bridged that gap a little bit because, they have probably a similar amount of data as Facebook, and they're able to like identify and advertise those people pretty much on a one-by-one basis as they come in.
Absolutely. And that's a big plus of AdSense. That's why I like it a lot.
That's cool.
That's
just touching back on the trivia, as far as the monetization, like I imagine you could probably sell solo drops, but like you wouldn't be charging people to play these trivia games, right?
Yeah, and I'm always trying to improve. I've been in this business for like a year and a half, almost 2 years now. And that's kind of one of the routes that I want to take is the ad list premium kind of experience on our stuff.
Nice.
And obviously for that, you've got to have a really premium experience. So that's one thing that I'm working on being better as, having better developers on the team, making better sites, and just making a all around better experience, better content writers. Because if someone's going to pay to play or pay to read articles, they have to be top tier. You know what I mean? So that's definitely one of the things that we're working towards is an ad list experience, but it's not to say that that's ever going to replace it. Because at the end of the day, people love free entertainment. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
Did you say AdSense Premium?
No. What I was trying to say was, I don't know if having a premium kind of, like ad list experience, where they don't see any ads, they're paying a certain amount monthly to have an ad list experience.
Cool. So. Cool. So you've only been in this for a year and a half. What did you do before this?
I did wholesaling real estate. So I don't know if have you guys heard of that or no? Okay. So basically I've
heard of it, but I've never done it.
Yeah. Well, let's say Tyler has a house. He wants to sell it. It's worth $100,000 and it needs a bunch of work. He's not been there for 2 years and he thinks there might be squatters. And he sees my sign on the road that says "We Buy Houses." He calls me and I say, okay, what do you want for the house? And he says, I want 60. And I run my numbers and I say, well, I can give you 50. We sign a contract for me to buy it, subject to, interior inspection and all this stuff. And then I go and assign that contract to a buyer for an assignment fee. So I did that for my first 3 years. Closed my first deal at 18, a couple of days before I graduated high school, actually, and I made $12,000 on that deal. So that kind of,
How old are you now?
I'm 23.
Damn.
Yeah. So,
man.
Yeah, so because this business that I'm in is very capital intensive. The content based business, you got to front a bunch of money. You're going to get a slow return. It's going to be grueling. You're going to have Gmail open rate go from 20% to 1% overnight. You got to figure out how to fix it. You're going to have content writers that don't deliver enough articles, so you're short, so you can't, all this crap. So I basically just bankrolled from what I had saved up doing real estate, and I was able to figure it out.
How'd you get introduced to this business? Because that's like pretty far-fetched, real estate to this stuff. They don't really cross too much.
Yeah, honestly, it was basically just through doing a bunch of online research. And in like 2018, maybe late 2017, I was like, dude, I'm sick and tired of dealing with crack houses. Like, I don't want to go in and see another triple decker in the toilet that hasn't been flushed in a year, I'm done with this. I want to quit my day job pretty much, it was a high paying day job. I want to do something online, and I'm a gamer, I like to be playing games at night with my brothers and stuff online. Yeah. And, I wanted just something that would support that lifestyle instead of having to wake up at 8 a.m., take calls. So basically, I just started doing a bunch of research, listening to podcasts. And actually, I think I listened to your guys' podcast with Daily Driven Exotics.
Oh,
no shit.
Was he on your guys' show, or was that a different one?
Yeah, no, he was on our show, man.
Yeah, so that was
we're
while
good
ago.
Buddies.
Yeah, so I just remember him mentioning email marketing. I was like, dude, I got to figure out how to do email marketing. I don't care what it takes. If I could just make $5,000 a day, email marketing, my life has changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically I went through this long, year and a half experience of just blowing through like 60 grand trying to do bulk email and stuff, and not even making one single conversion CPA wise. And then I met John and a couple other guys in the more content-based space. And, I was just like, hey, I'll front all this cash and I think this can work. The numbers make sense. And, I'm simplifying it. Obviously, it was over months of research and stuff. But then, we launched our first few brands and it worked out.
That's awesome, man.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, now $5,000 a day would not even pay our marketing bill. So how things change.
Right.
Yeah. That's fast. That's a pretty fast transition, man, from like 18 deciding you need to retire and quit your day job to this.
Yeah, I know. It sounds crazy. And also I've been married for almost 5 years now. So I'm doing a lot of things probably that a young guy should not be doing or would not be doing. Not to say I shouldn't be doing these things.
Yeah. Dude, you sound like you have an awesome life. So that's fucking dope.
Having fun, man. Not as cool as you guys or John, but
I don't know.
I'm trying to earn my stripes.
Everyone's trying to be as cool as John.
Yeah.
Guy's got dirt bike tracks in his backyard and shit now.
That is true. Yep.
Well, going back to the wholesale business, so you were doing that for 3 years?
Yeah. I did probably close to like 150 deals in 3 years. I ended up building the team. I had like a guy to acquisition manager. I had like a transaction coordinator. They were all VAs, so they were US based. But we were doing good, but the thing is it's very hard to scale a business like that into 7 figures. It really is. Like, it's a good 6-figure business. You're going to be working a lot of hours. It's a hustle. It's not sellable. You can't, if I came to you and say, hey, I have a wholesaling business for sale, you'd be like, what? What is it? Like, there's nothing here, there's nothing to touch. So that was kind of the issue for me, is I'm like, hey, I straight up am working a high paying job,
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Talk about, if you don't mind me asking, man, how much are you spending on marketing a day right now?
Really depends. Some months we're trying actually to get up to 10 grand a day, but some months, we're only at like 3 or 4 grand a day. Other months we're at like 200 grand a month. I don't know how that works out. I don't really look at per day as much as, cause I have like a marketing team that I work with as well.
Nice.
And a few marketing partners as well that I work with who run the campaigns, and they're beasts. So I'm trying typically to spend 100 to 200 grand a month. My biggest month that I spent so far is like 230. And now we're trying to push it to 300 consistently. But it's an issue. These are like small numbers, maybe compared, like you guys might look at that and say, hey, that's a small number, right?
No,
but the thing for me is it looked big at first and now it's feeling small. But now I'm also dealing with different issues, like having, my return is just not looking as crazy, instead of getting my money back in 2 or 3 months, it might take me like 4 months to get my money back. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So I'm dealing with some diminishing returns as I'm scaling, but at the end of the day, you know, sometimes that's what it takes to get bigger. You're not going to get
No
the same
doubt.
results trying to make 100, 200 grand a month as you are trying to make $1 million a month. You know what I mean?
Do you
Where
think
do you
it's a
spend-
function? Let me ask this one first, because I'm curious about this. Do you think it's a function of all the politics going on right now? Like, you know, the election's a month away. Everyone's getting inundated from both the ad point of view. Like the gym I go to, every third song is a Biden commercial, pretty much. And people are just getting so inundated. Do you think that maybe has something to play with it, or you think not at all?
No, I definitely think it does have some play. And I don't know if you guys have noticed it too, but costs have definitely gone up on ad platforms. You know, they're trying to, especially if you're trying to reach that like 40 plus demographic, it's expensive right now. And the flip side of that is AdSense revenue is a little higher than usual. But on the other side, also it's hard to get, you know, leads at scale at a reasonable cost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sites like mine. So it's a little bit of a give and take, and I'm kind of excited to see what happens when the election's over, because that spending is going to drop off, of course. And I think only the people who are like really have been like getting ready for, you know, to just absolutely mow down, you know, spending, just absolutely kill it, are the only ones who are going to be playing ball, excuse me, when the election's over. I'm not sure how many people are still going to be spending big after. Because I don't know, it feels like there's kind of some uncertainty as far as, you know, what's going to happen. So we'll see.
Totally.
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
Do you spend most of your money on Google, or is it also Facebook as well?
It's a mix between Google, and I don't think we do a lot of Facebook right now. Like I said, I have marketing partners who I work with who run the campaigns. And we're definitely heavy on Google, but another way that I built a lot of my lists is through buying drops on other people's lists, you know, buying,
smart.
You know, you could say buying leads. Sometimes you pay per lead, sometimes you pay CPM, but you're buying email leads. And those are going to be your bread and butter leads. You know, they're going to be the most active. They're going to click the most. They're going to hang around the most because they're used to seeing that type of content. And, you know, it's relatively easy to find places to buy because you can reach out to sites in your similar niche and say, hey, and to be honest, man, like 90% of sites have an email list, you know? So you can reach out to them and say, hey, I see you have an email list. Are you interested in, you know, selling some advertising to me? And basically it's just through deals like that I built a lot of my early lists. And, you know, Google and stuff, that takes a bigger budget to play. So I'm playing in Google now, but Google is tough if you aren't spending a ton of money. You know what I mean? Because you got to build up that pixel, you know, I guess is the terminology a little bit, where they can find the right, you know, lead for you to make sure that, you know, the lead's clicking, they're active, you're making money.
Yeah, we're advertising on Google now, and like what you're saying is bang on. Like we'll start up a campaign, we'll run it for a couple of days, and then we'll want to shut it off. But we actually have something called a high growth rep, which has been super useful. And he kind of oversees our account. He even actually, in fact, sets up account or ad campaigns for us.
Wow.
And we'll be like, hey, like, should we hit this? Should we like take it down? He's like, no, give it 2 more days. And like, we won't do anything at all. And all of a sudden, and this is search, mind you, we'll see Google actually flip from being negative to positive. Wow. So you're right, man. How it works is like the craziest thing. I didn't expect that on search. I thought it was just so keyword based, but there's whole other layers of targeting wrapped into that.
There totally is. Yeah, there's a lot more to Google than I think a lot of people give them credit for. And I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like I'm an amazing Google expert, because I'm not. I just have a great marketing partners that, you know, that I'm working with as well. So, yeah, but I am good at buying email drops, because that's what I did a lot when I was obviously starting out. So, yeah, I mean, each lead has its pluses and minuses. It's just more about, you know, finding what you want, you know?
Yeah. You know, what's cool, man. It's like a lot of people we know and a lot of people listen to podcasts, actually, like everyone knows Google and Facebook. I don't think we've ever had anyone talk about buying email lists before.
Yeah. And that's honestly kind of surprising for me. It's a hidden niche, you know what I mean? And that's where you get some of your X factor, you know, because a lot of these, you know, like me, I sell obviously email advertising, And a lot of my advertisers are dominating their spaces because they don't really have a lot of competition, you know? We don't really have a lot of guys in the same niches buying with similar offers. A lot of the guys are, you know, dominating that space. And don't get me wrong, I understand why a lot of people don't do email. Because again, it's not the sexiest return. You'll buy a lead today. It might take you a month or 2, 3 months to get that revenue back on that lead, but that lead is going to have such a long lifetime value because they're an email lead. They've been in someone's list. They're clicking. They're not unsubscribing. They're not, you know, complaining. They're hanging around, buying stuff, clicking around, enjoying what's being sent to them. So if you can find a targeted email list in your demographic, you can essentially really kill it. You know, I mean, BioTrust is a good example. They're like $100 million company. Have you guys heard of BioTrust?
100%. Yeah, man.
Yeah. And they buy drops all day long, you know?
Oh,
so
interesting. Is that how they build their list? Is through email drops?
well, I can't speak specifically to what they do. All I can say is I definitely know that they build a lot of their, you know, stuff through email, you know. I don't know what percentage of their advertising would be attributed
That's
to
crazy.
email,
I didn't
they definitely do it quite a bit.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So as far as so say someone has a website, they want to get some traffic to it. How would they go about like finding the right email list to, like, you know, to pay someone so that they could advertise in their email drops?
Well, number one is to identify, hey, are you going to have a site in a specific niche? So are you a news site? Are you a trivia site? Are you something or another? You know, what sort of site are you? Or are you like a physical product brand who's going to be shooting for a sale? You know, because there's two different, obviously, you know, types of advertisers that we can deal with. If you're someone who's looking to sell a product, identify your demographic. Are you looking to reach 25 to 35? Are you looking to reach 50 plus, you know, males in the US? Are you looking to reach 50 plus women? And there's different niches, you know, for example, like coupon sites are great for like 50 plus women, right? If you've got a skin cream that sells to those type of women, that would be a perfect niche to focus on finding people to advertise in their lists. On the other side, if you're a news brand, you still want to go, you know, demographic focused, or excuse me, like a content brand, I should say. You can find someone who has a similar sort of content site. You know, if you're sending out celebrity entertainment news, then you want to probably find other celebrity entertainment sites to deal with and buy traffic from. So, you know, two different ways of looking at it. They're both kind of demographic based, except for a content based person who monetizes on their content is going to look for more of at least being in the same niche, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'd start. And, you know, obviously people can, if it's okay, reach out to me if you want to buy advertising and buy clicks and stuff like that. I mainly focus on the 50 plus male and female niche. That's just kind of where our sites have kind of fallen. Yeah. And also I think can be the most profitable. So yeah.
Yeah, those are definitely good buyers. They have money.
Yeah, we'll take all your data, please.
Yeah.
Just package it up nicely. We'll send a wire. Good to go.
No doubt. Yeah, it's funny. The only other person I've ever heard talk about buying traffic from other email newsletters before is Chad, and he's a monster, man. He built up you know, huge businesses before, but buying email, he says it's such a great opportunity, and not a lot of people are really doing it. And there's actually there is ad exchanges that you can buy from, so you don't have to buy the full drop. Like there's Power Inbox, there's Live Intent. Is there any other ones?
I think Rev Content has an email, but I don't think they're very big.
Oh, interesting.
I think so. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. I've never dealt with them, and I actually don't buy on any ad exchanges, just because they only have a limited publisher base, and you don't really know which lists you're buying the traffic from. So you get a lot of duplication. And so what could be a reasonable lead spending $1,000 a day, as soon as you scale to 1,500, you're like almost doubling your cost. You know, it's not to say that they're bad. Obviously those ad exchanges are great for the right, you know, with the right plan and the right strategy. But for me, it didn't work.
Fair
very
enough.
well. You know, that's not to say that they're not good. It completely worked for you. But I mainly focus on going direct to list.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
Yeah.
in the beginning, were you just kind of like cold calling sites, basically just reaching out, finding
yeah.
sites, being like, hey, this is what I'm interested in, and how much
Oh
would
yeah.
you charge for this?
Yeah, that's basically how I built my business starting out. I come from real estate. We deal with a
Yeah,
lot of cold calling, talking to random
Negotiation.
people,
yeah,
negotiation. So at the end of the day, when I'm negotiating lead prices, it feels exactly like negotiating, or drop prices. It's exactly like negotiating wholesaling. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
So I honestly got some prices on my stuff that, John, a lot of these guys were like, dude, there's no way you're getting that price. I'm like, I just know how to negotiate, I guess,
yeah.
I mean, and then I'm leveraging this guy's price that he gave me with this guy, getting even lower price, and then blah blah blah.
Yeah, no doubt.
So it's not to say that I'm trying to, like I said, it's a balancing act because I don't want to underpay someone where they feel like they're not winning out because then I can't keep buying. So we got to kind of keep
Totally.
it and make sure both parties are happy. But dude, I didn't have like $1 million in the bank to deal with when I was launching these sites. So I had to make sure that I was getting good prices and getting good returns, off the bat. Now it's a little bit more flexible and I'm willing to pay more to get, more reach. So
Cool, man. What as far as budgets for starting this, like if someone just wants to start dipping their toe in, maybe they have a product,
yeah.
what kind of like test budgets do you think they would need?
Yeah. So when I say a big budget, I'm talking starting a content site that you really want to monetize. So that was the issue with budget as far as I went. If you have a physical product or a digital product or any sort of just product-based business, you're going to be pretty well off because those are ROI-based guys who are going to buy based on ROI.
Yeah.
You might come in and you might want to do, a test drop and, you're looking for 80% ROI because, over a month you can make another 40% on that person or whatever the numbers look like.
Yeah.
And you can come in and do a test drop with publishers like me or other guys and, and try to fine tune it, figure out what works. And you're not going to really lose much money. It's kind of like doing $5 ads on Facebook. You might put up $1,000 for a drop and you might make back 600, 700 or whatever that number might be. If your offer's bad, you'll make less. If your offer is good and your creative's good, you'll make more, of course. So it's, it's definitely a long-term game. If you're coming in, you're expecting to buy one drop to make $2,000 on $1,000 and just like keep on raking in the money. It's not going to happen. You got to come in with the attitude of, I don't know what creatives work yet. I don't know what lists work yet because there are many bad lists. Trust me, people who don't actually, they say they're subscribed lists, but they're actually just crap bulk lists that get 3% open rates.
Yeah.
So you gotta kind of test the waters and figure out what works. And I would say a starting budget, I'd say come at email marketing and saying, I'm going to try to make solo ads work with 10 grand, call it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you, it might get you like close to 10 drops probably around there. Mm-hmm. And, try to figure out what you can do with that. You're not going to lose, dude. If you're worried, I'm sorry to anybody listening, but if you're worried about losing 10 grand for a potential new 7-figure a year profit center for you, you shouldn't be in business. You know what I mean?
True.
So for me coming in, I'm like, I'm not just going to worry about 10 grand. I'm going to make this work because I know it works in my space,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 10 grand is kind of a minimum of what I'd play with, but we're business owners, man. So, if 10 grand, you come back and you say, man, I made back 7 grand right up front and I'm not sure how I'm going to monetize, blah, blah, blah. I'm crying, bro. Slap yourself back in order. Say you're going to get better creatives. You're going to get better click-through rates. You're going to find better lists and go out there and try to improve those numbers. It's
totally,
a long-term game.
And there could be some lists in there that did really well, other ones that did really shitty. You get rid of the crappy ones, you run your winners, and you keep building from there.
Exactly. And like you said with Google, bro, you can be going red on this roller coaster and then all of a sudden it hits this point where you're just absolutely killing it. So imagine you might have to test 50 lists to find 10 great ones. And then those 10 great ones are just killing it for you,
Totally.
So It might be depressing on that testing phase, but as soon as you find the winners, man, you're happy, you know?
It's gonna
Man,
get through
I
it,
think
no doubt.
I think everything's depressing on the testing phase. Like it's
Oh
just in
yeah.
reality, you know, like Facebook, it's shit until it's not, you know,
Oh
and
yeah.
just
Yeah.
everything. But I mean, like that's what kind of makes this game exciting, you know, and like it is a game in that sense, because you're just like, I know that there's a win at the end of the tunnel, and I just got to keep hitting it hard until I hit that win.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny how like our industry's almost become like a gamified situation. Like the whole thing is just like dialing little things, different text sizes, different button colors. Like at the end of the day, it all makes a difference. And any one of those things could be a make or break for your campaign.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I have a lot of fun with this business. You know, early on, I had a lot of guys who had been in this business for a while. I'd be talking to them. They'd be like, that sounds stupid. That's not going to work, you know? But I'm sitting here
Yeah.
like, hey, let me try it, you know? And then I try
Yeah.
it and it actually kills it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've always obviously also had things that I tried that totally didn't kill it, but you know, it is a game and I have a lot of fun with it, innovating, and also realizing that the people who are subscribed to your list and reading your content are real people. You know what I mean?
Totally.
To make sure you've got some value there. You know, we've made mistakes, you know, we've advertisements have come in that, you know, weren't necessarily horrible, but they didn't fit our, you know, our demographic, and we had to cut them, you know? So it's about constantly trying to make sure your user experience is just as good as you can make it. And I'm not perfect, but I'm still working to make our user experience better every day. And same thing with advertiser experience also. You know, those two people are the lifeblood of our business. So
Yeah. What's your long-term plan with your sites? Do you want to just build them up and just have all these revenue streams, or you think you'd ever sell some, or what does that look like for you?
you know, it really depends. I don't think I'd really sell it anytime soon, but long term, I want to essentially, like I was saying earlier, have some sites that don't even send any email ads. You know, you might make less money on that lead. They're going to have a better experience on your list. They're going to hang around longer, and essentially, you know, they're going to fall in love with your brand more. You know, so long term, that's, I think, a stronger sellable kind of way of looking at it. You know, where my business right now might go for 2x ROI, maybe 3x. That might be a business that could go for like 5 to 10x ROI, because it's a business that has a longer lifetime value and is just more reliable, you know, because we've figured out a way to make money, right? But, you know, a big company might sit here and say, yeah, you make a bunch of money, but at what expense? You know, you got a lot of people unsubscribing quickly and your lead attrition is too high. And, you know, it's a balancing act. So long term, that's the route I want to take. Now, obviously, that's going to take some balls, because I might spend $100,000 this month, but I might not get that back for a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I'm making more on that lead, you know, over the lifetime. So
Totally. If anything, it's like an investment to your future.
exactly.
Yeah. And as you grow, wouldn't you expect that the unsub rate would increase as well, like with more users?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's more affected, not necessarily by the size of the list. I mean, obviously more number of people unsubscribe, but the percentage of people that are unsubscribing is not going to really change. It's the main thing that's going to change that number is going to be your, number one, how often you're sending. And number two, how many advertisements are in those emails that you're sending. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. That's a good
And
point.
your amount of people that are interacting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's another thing, is some people think they can just send a bunch of ads and have no problem. But man, if people aren't clicking on it, you're not going to end up in the inbox. And not being in an inbox, let me tell you, you don't have a business, you know? And in the 21st century, I know there's probably hackers out there who can figure out a way into the inbox with no problems. But for us normal folk, we got to figure out a way to keep people interested in our content and actually opening and actually clicking to stay in the inbox.
Can you give a little insight into like your like best practices for mailing to keep inbox, not so much inbox, but like how not to over advertise advertisements to people?
Yeah, I mean, number one is just to control the amount of ads that you're sending. You really don't want to send more than one dedicated email a day, if that, you know. Some people send more and maybe the numbers work out for them, but that's kind of the max that I've found. And then 1 to 2 content sends a day. We at least send 1 content email every day. Some days we don't send a promo, like a solo ad. but we at least send one single content email. And there's guys who I know who send 2 or 3 content emails a day, and it works for them. And maybe we'll go that route at some point if people keep clicking, showing that they're actually interested in that content. But, and then one of the other best practices is, dude, just a lot of people, they just keep on hammering the same user. Like if there's someone like with a Gmail email address that has not opened an email in 60 days and you continue sending them emails, do you think Gmail is going to look at you as someone who cares whether or not their users are interacting with their content? No, they're not going to see you. They're going to see you as a spammer, and you're going straight to the spam box. So ensure that 90% of your sends are going to your openers and clickers. So that's kind of one of my best practices that have
list management. Gotcha.
Yeah. It's helped me avoid a lot of the issues that some of the, other people in my industry have said are an issue of just like open rates dipping overnight. It's happened a couple times, but this definitely minimizes,
no doubt,
minimizes all sorts of scares.
I like what you said on that. And a lot of people are always looking for like the Gmail hack or the Yahoo hack. But it's honestly, it's easier than that. Like, make sure people engage with your emails and you won't have a problem. Like, for the most part, at the end of the day, if I'm Gmail, I want to deliver emails to my users that want the emails. In fact, that's the only reason my users are going to stay with me.
Right.
If I start blocking all their mail, I'm going to have a problem.
Right.
And so if you can show Gmail by having your users engage with your content that your message deserves to be there, they're going to continue to drop it there. So I'm glad you pointed that out, man. Like, I'd rather play the long-term game, which is content and engagement, than just these hacks, because these hacks come and go. And like, Gabe, we came from that world way back. That's how Gabe and I met. We used to do it for AOL and some other stuff. But it was like, you could have record months, and then the next month, like, you're wondering how you're going to get your next paycheck. It's not a way to live life, man. It's very, very stressful.
Yeah, SBC, man. Sure. We abused that
SBC
shit.
Global.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because that's the world that I was like trying to look into in 2018. Is just how to hack my way into the inbox and just spam basically. But at the end of the day, I don't know. In 2018, I think I was probably a little past the wave for that mark. But at the end of the day, I got into this business because I wanted more stability. I didn't want to have to worry where my next paycheck was coming, because in real estate it could be looking like $150,000 a month and you're like over the moon. You take your wife on to a $500 dinner, and the next day 3 deals cancel because sellers title issues. Before you know it, you made $20,000 that month and you spent $20,000. So you're like, oh shoot, wait, I didn't make anything. So I didn't want that same wave of issues. And so I play a little longer game in favor of a little more stability. And
do you find the emails very stable?
I do honestly, because at the end of the day, when you're sending out, like I said, content that people want to read, they continue opening and clicking. And revenue can still take 20% dips and dives and maybe jump 20% other months. So there's still some kind of waves in there, like any business. But for the most part, I could probably predict what I'll make next Thursday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool. And that was my goal. And like I said, there's still ways to get better on that and to treat the user even better, make sure they have even less ads and hang around even longer. And that would be even more stable. But we're getting there,
Yeah, no doubt. That's cool. One thing I kind of want to touch on, if you're okay with it, is I was actually on TikTok and I saw you on there.
Oh boy.
What does your wife do?
She's got social media accounts and YouTube, TikTok. She's pretty big, I think she has like 1.2 million on TikTok or something and like 700K on YouTube. Yeah. But, she does dances, fashion, beauty. We do couple stuff, couple videos. She'll throw eggs at my Lambo for a video, that's whatever we think is going to be fun. We're just, we're young. So, and she's killing it on social media. So we have a lot of fun with it.
That's awesome, man.
Man, I bet I've seen you before and I don't even I don't even
I
recognize
don't
it.
honestly, Gabe, if you saw me, I'd be worried because that means you're watching what your typical 18-year-old girls watch. Makeup and beauty videos somehow finds
To be
its way
honest,
over
man,
there.
like TikTok kind of just gives you the most random stuff.
Oh yeah, dude. TikTok can be an absolute rabbit hole. I mean, and YouTube too. Out of nowhere, dude, I got recommended this one like cave dwelling video, like, and now I'm just getting targeted on all these like abandoned mine videos. This is crazy.
What? That's
I know,
hilarious.
I don't, dude. You go down rabbit holes on social media.
Yeah, I find TikTok, it's either like hot girls dancing, animal videos, or like what
Stock
else is there?
tips.
But then you get weird stuff. Like I got like animal abuse videos and stuff, and I'm just like, what
Really?
is this shit? Get it off. Yeah, dude. Like, yeah, I don't even want to go into it, but I'm like, this is not what I'm here for. Like,
Yeah,
Absolutely,
no doubt.
man. Yeah, TikTok's another animal, but I guess if you are on TikTok, then you probably have seen one of Brianna's videos. But
yeah, I don't know, man. That's
That's funny.
funny though. That's so funny. That's cool though. Like that's super dope. Like it's TikTok looks like a load of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny how similar kind of the models are of building a social media presence and like building a content based like brand, you know, because they're out there putting out free content and then they make money from sponsorships, which
Yeah.
dedicated emails. It's, you know, it's like the social
Same
media
thing.
way of saying dedicated email. Yeah. And they're making money from, you know, AdSense as well on their videos and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So that the
Weird.
models are
Provide
very
value, make
similar.
money.
Yeah, exactly. Free content.
Who knew? Who knew?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
Damn,
hilarious, man.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
yeah.
Man, well, we're getting it. We've almost hit an hour here.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Ran by.
no doubt. How'd you feel when she threw those eggs on the Lambo?
Oh, I was very happy because we had a conversation before saying, hey, we might get a lot of views if we throw eggs at the Lambo. So, you know me, man. I'm always looking to get better results, you know? So,
No
Yeah.
doubt. Do what you got to do.
That's
I
cool.
like it.
So
Yeah.
you're a Lambo guy, hey?
you know, yeah, I mean, I definitely grew up with Lambos on the wall, and that was kind of my pinnacle of success. And I've got a Lambo on a Rolls. I'm doing that thing, you know. I got my
Yeah,
car.
why not?
You know, I'm actually not even on social media. I don't even have an Instagram right now. I don't have a YouTube channel. It's just not really my thing as much, but I like to cruise them around. You know, they're my little hobbies, and I don't want to be that 60-year-old dude who's just barely driving around in a Lambo, you know, because he finally feels like he made it. Like my goal is by 30, I don't want to care about luxury cars ananymore. You know, I've had my fun.
Yeah.
And I'm already almost at that point, but we'll see. I'm not quite ready to get rid of them yet.
Yeah. It's kind of like once you've had them, you're like, this was a lot more exciting in my head.
Yeah,
Unless,
for sure.
Unless you have functional ones. I feel like for me, I thought like I just bought a GT3 and I've been doing the track lately. And like that is the most addictive thing ever. I'm just like, what can I do to get faster and learn how to do this better? Because it's so much fun.
For sure, man. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, as long as you're doing it for you and not to prove to other people that you've hit a certain level, then it just makes it so much more enjoyable, you know, because in like 2018, I bought like a '06 Gallardo, and I did that really just to prove to other people like, hey, look I'm, you know, 20 years old and I made it. And I sold it after like 3 or 4 months because it wasn't for the right reasons.
Yeah.
So, you know, with where I'm at now, I feel like it's a little different, which I feel like helps you enjoy it a lot more. So
no doubt.
Agreed, man.
What do you like more, the Rolls with the Lambo?
I'd probably have to think about that. I mean, they have their different places in life, you know. The Rolls is just a great date car, going cruising. It's what I daily drive. And the Lambo is just hey, I haven't driven that for 5 days. I can't wait to sit in it again, you know? Let me go take it out for a cruise today. And it's just another, you know, ping of excitement for the week, you know, every week.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have a Wraith?
Yeah, I have a Wraith.
Yeah, nice. The ultimate daily driver. I love those things, man. They look so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And, you know, it's great for when you have guests too, because the back seats, even though it's a 2-door, are just so spacious. So I love it. If anybody's thinking about it, you know, get the Wraith.
Dude, yeah, they're coming down in price too. I feel like.
Oh, I got mine dirt cheap, dude. You wouldn't believe.
Yeah, I bet. They're cool, man. They're so cool.
Yeah.
We Tyler and I rented a Ghost when we were in Vegas to do a bunch of interviews in.
Nice.
It's so comfy, man. Just like you
Yeah.
live in that thing forever. And we were extremely hungover, so it made for a great day.
I didn't even want to drive. I thought for sure like my impending doom was coming if I did.
That's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Vegas will do that to you.
Dude,
No
that's
doubt.
the thing. You go to Vegas, you're like, okay, we got to do this, 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 and this. And they're like, we're not going to drink the first night. And of course, you like drink the first night. And then you're just like, here we are. We got it
Just like
done.
every other year.
We
That's
got
true.
it done. Yeah.
We're not quitters.
Hey, that's all.
We're
all that
not
matters.
quitters.
You push through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. I really appreciate you jumping on here, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate the time.
Thank you guys for inviting me.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for everyone listening today. For everyone watching, please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube. And for everyone listening, please give us a 5-star review on Spotify, iTunes, or Stitcher. Thank you.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
dude. Later.
Cool, guys. Have a good day.
You too.